Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the chess journey to National Master. This episode will be round 6 of Torneio Nacional de Honra. This round was the second last round, and after a very important win, I realized that I still had a chance of winning the tournament in case I won the last two games. So, I started prepping for my opponent. My opponent was Alan, and I actually played against this gentleman before. I think earlier on that year, and we drew. I also had the black pieces, but I couldn't really find any of his accounts online and games played. So I was trying to dig out something. I will go into the story time now, and if you guys wanna skip the story time, I will leave a timestamp over there somewhere. So okay, story time was that I actually got to find his Leech's account through Facebook. I was just digging the internet for every information about this gentleman, which is very creepy. Really, some spy stuff that I was doing just to find his chess.com or Leech's accounts. And I actually ended up uh, finding his Lee Chess account through his Facebook because I went to his Facebook page and, like, on a very old post, he had some sort of puzzle screenshot from Lee Chess, and I actually got to zoom in that Facebook post and I saw his nickname, and then I just went to work and saw all of his games on Lee Chess through opening3.com. And I just found out what he was playing, and he was mostly playing the same repertoire all over the place. So you know I was like, this is this is so nasty. I mean, wow. If I get my preparation, this will be like insanely easy. But let's see how the game went. So my opponent started with e4, which I expected, and I went for c5, actually repeating the same opening that we played earlier that year. He went knight f3. Here I went e6 because I was expecting him to go into a Smith Mora. He went to d4, c takes on d4, and now he went c3, which is what I prepared for. If he went knight takes d4 here, um, going into an open Sicilian, I would have no clue of how to play these positions with e6. I never looked at anything like that. I don't know what I would have done. I would probably start improvising from this exact position. So that would have been interesting to see what I would come up with. But thankfully for me, he went for his normal c3 lines. I took, so of course, the most principled way is to accept the gambit. He took back, and now I played knight c6, bishop c4, bishop b4. This is all part of my preparation against him. Castles, knight e7. Now he plays e5. I play knight g6. He plays bishop g5. And now I come back with the bishop to e7. He takes on e7. I take back with the queen. And now he plays knight b5. All of this was still preparation. This is better for black, slightly better for black. And yeah, it's kind of crazy because he was actually spending time probably trying to recall how to play this position, and I was just blitzing most of my moves. Of course, I wasn't just blitzing like immediately because I didn't want him to think that I was in prep, but I was still being pretty fast, maybe spending like just a minute or something and trying to do some poker face of like, I'm thinking here, but I wasn't really thinking, right? But yeah, I still like to do some poker face, just some mind games, even if I'm in prep. So here after knight b5, of course, he's threatening knight c7 check, so I just castle, and now he plays queen d6, which is a big mistake actually. That gives me a much better position because now there's a tactic, and this was all in his online games actually, so yeah, he didn't actually catch up with this mistake from that he was making. Now I just take the pawn on e5. Then yeah, just simple tactic that I see that the chess.com engine says it's brilliant, but yeah, it's pretty easy because now, okay, I just took a pawn. If my opponent takes on e5 with the knight, I take the queen, he takes the queen, I take the knight, and I'm just up 2 pawns now because I was up the first gambited pawn and now the second one, and this is I mean, this is just way better for black. 2 pawns up, and if he takes my queen here, I can actually first take on f3 with check, takes back, and then I take the queen, and now I'm even better because this pawn structure is ruined, and I'm threatening to just go d5 immediately, so he has to go knight d6, but still. But okay, in the game, yeah, he clearly realized that he made a mistake. He played bishop e2, and now I just took the queen. He took back with the knight, and now I was out of prep. This was all my prep. I didn't know what to do, but I mean, you're just up 2 pawns as black. You're completely winning. The computer says like minus 1.5, so just completely winning. And now, yeah, it's just a matter of converting. Um, Immediately after leaving preparation, I just do a very big mistake, a very lazy and just bad move. I play knight takes on f3 check, which is a horrible move. Um, and yeah, I play this almost immediately. Um, yeah, now he takes back with bishop, and this is horrible because I just literally developed his bishop, which wasn't doing anything on e2. And now the bishop is a monster on this diagonal. Also, like, this knight was fine here. I could have actually just played a way stronger and better move, knight f4, attacking the bishop with a tactic that if my opponent takes on e5, I take on e2 with check. He has to go king h1, and then I can bring back the knight, and I should be doing fine, even though like this bishop is ugly here. It can't really move because of this knight, but I can play b6, bishop a6, something like that. Of course, I still have to worry about like some rook c1s trying to infiltrate here, but I should be able to stop that pretty comfortably with something like knight d5, for example, stopping this. But yeah, I didn't play knight f4, which was a way better move. I mean, knight c6, which would also be better than what I did. You don't really want to just let him freely develop the bishop. But my idea, my very innocent idea was that, okay, I'm up 2 pawns, I should just trade down everything and go into a winning endgame. But yeah, it's not that simple because, okay, after bishop takes on f3, I played rook b8, and even though I'm up 2 pawns here, my pieces are very ugly, especially this bishop here. This knight is a monster on d6, and it's not so easy to actually kick this knight from d6, and he has pressure on b7, and yeah, he can bring a rook to the c file, to the d file, and yeah, actually, even though I'm up to pawns, my position is worse, technically speaking, because of the piece development being very bad. But okay, I still have an advantage. He played rook ac1, makes a lot of sense. I played knight e5, bishop e2 by my opponent, and now I played rook d8. The idea with rook fd8 was to just bring the king to attack this knight and try to remove it from d6, because if I'm allowed to just play d5, kick this knight, play d5, I should be doing fantastic. f4 by my opponent makes sense to kick the knight from e5. I drop back to c6. He goes a3, which I don't really understand. I didn't really want to go knight b4, but maybe he wants to expand here, which, okay, it is definitely a move. King f8, b4 by my opponent, and now I played king e7, which is a big mistake actually, because you'll see that after king e7, that's what I played. He plays rook fd1, protecting this knight, and now this knight is not going anywhere because I will never be able to contest this this line of sight, because my knight can't go to d5, the king is actually, on the square that the knight wants to go to. Yeah, here I actually had a very good move before king e7. Here I could play knight d4, which is a fantastic move, because now I'm attacking the bishop. The bishop has to move. Um, I don't know. Let's say bishop d3. Now I can play king e7, and the rook can't go to d1 to protect this knight because of the knight blocking. Also, the bishop is blocking, but even if the bishop goes to another square, like bishop c4, for example, I still have king e7 attacking this knight. So yeah, although knight d4, I would have to calculate bishop h5, and it's not that simple, because after g6, the computer says rook fd1, and stuff gets very complicated here, but yeah, it should be fine for me. Also, king e7 here apparently is good, something like this, but yeah, this would have to be calculated. It's not simple at all. Okay, in the game I didn't do this. I didn't see knight d4. I played king e7, rook fd1, and now I was a bit stuck. I didn't really know what to do and how to improve my position. I was very, very cramped, and yeah, it wasn't easy. I actually started spending a considerable amount of time here, because yeah, it's not easy to play this position for black, I must say. I played a6, stopping b5, I guess, but he can still play b5 if he wants to. Plays g4, so he's trying to expand on the king side. I played king f8, going back with the king, because I thought, okay, my king doesn't belong on e7. I should probably bring the knight to e7. He played king f2. I played knight e7, bishop f3. Very good move, putting the bishop on this diagonal. Here I played knight back to c6, which is just bad. I just had no idea what to do with my position, and I was starting to panic, because I no longer thought that I had an advantage, even with 2 pawns up in this position. Bishop e4 by my opponent. I go king e7, because if my opponent takes this pawn, I could easily just play g6 and trap this bishop. So king e7 here. He goes back to h1, and now I go f6, trying to break with e5. My opponent goes bishop back to e4, and now I have to protect h7, so I play g6. My opponent goes h3, and now I finally break through with e5, trying to free up my position somehow. He took on e5, I took back with the pawn, and now I have ideas of knight d4, trying to take this knight. My opponent goes king on e3, and here I had a very big thing. I don't know why. I don't know exactly what I didn't like about knight d4. It wasn't my idea initially, but I ended up like spending almost 30 minutes here and playing rook f8, which is not good. I had a big chance here with knight d4. I think I might have not liked knight c4 here, but I always have d6, and now my bishop opens up, and everything is good. So I missed this very like obvious chance of getting a good position here. I don't know. It's hard to tell what I exactly missed. Like, this seems pretty normal here. Also, doesn't just d5 win a piece here? Knight takes on e5. Oh no, he wins back the piece. Okay. Yeah, he wins back the piece. Then this is no, this is not good. Forget what I was saying. Yeah, d6 is just the good move here, trying to finally develop the bishop. But I missed this. I don't know how. Maybe I overcomplicated things and I just played rook f8, which it's a missed opportunity for sure. Now he also misses a very strong move with rook c5. Here would actually be very, very good for him, putting tremendous amount of pressure on e5 and in my position generally. But yeah, he played knight c4, which is not good. Now I have b5 attacking the knight here, and my opponent actually took on c6. If my opponent went back to d6 here, I wouldn't have knight d4, and now there's no longer any knight c4s, and this knight is in trouble, so you would have to trade here. But after these trades, yeah, my position is amazing here. But okay, in the game, this didn't happen. He actually took on c6, which was very surprising because maybe he thought that I would just take back on c6 and he would win the e5 pawn, but I first take on c4 and now this bishop is hanging, so he has to move the bishop. He moves to d5. I play rook f4, kind of defending this pawn, although it's attacked twice. He took with the rook, which was definitely a mistake because after rook takes, and bishop b7, yeah, I finally developed the bishop to a good square and a good diagonal. He plays bishop d5, which is another mistake. So he made a lot of mistakes in a row, but he was getting low on time. And, after bishop takes on d5, rook takes on d5, I think he was expecting something like king e6, and then he would have rook c5, and things are not so simple. But actually, I found a very good move here, which was rook b5, saying that if you take, this endgame is completely winning for me, which is true. So after rook b5, he dropped the rook back to d3, and now things like start to get really intense. I played a5, he played rook b3 here. I improved my king with king e6. He played king d3. It's important to note that if he plays a4 here, I can safely take here, and this pawn is not running anywhere because I'm inside the square here. So yeah, I stopped the pawn in time, which I calculated, very important. So here he played king d3, I played d5, and now I have these two passed pawns which will win me the game if I have like good technique here. He played king c3, now I traded pawns, and I played king f6, which it's a bit slow. I should have gone rook b7, trying to bring the rook to a more active square here. But, I thought that, I could just bring the king here with king f6. He played h4, and now I played h5, takes, and, yeah, he played rook a3, and I saw his trick, but it actually didn't work. Played king f5, he played rook a5, and he played it very, very confidently, and it was like, boom, I tricked you. He was like, boom, looking at me, like, after playing king a5, he was looking at me like, yo, you didn't see this move, right? Boom. Uh, but he missed that I have this intermezzo d4 check, and now after king c4, I can drop the rook back to b8. Because like here, okay, if I actually drop the rook back immediately, this would be a draw because he would take this pawn, and now I have no chances of winning. And of course, if I take the rook here, he wins. So yeah, I would even be losing. But fortunately for me, there's this intermezzo move that forces his king to move, and now everything is defended. I drop the rook back. He plays rook c5. I play king e4, and yeah, he starts pushing his pawn, but I wasn't too worried about it. I also started pushing my pawns, which are way further advanced. He played king c3. I played rook d8, putting the rook behind the passed pawn. Very important technique here. He played king d2, stopping the pawn. I played king d4, attacking the rook. Rook c6, e4. He played rook e6. If he played rook I don't know. If it's pushed the pawns, I wouldn't be too worried. The rook is protecting it very well. He played rook e6, which makes sense. He's stopping the pawn going to e3 with check. But now I play rook g8. He plays b6. I play rook check on g2. He plays king c1. And now I just give another check on c2. He goes king b1. And now the final move of the game, rook c4. Very strong, threatening rook b4 check if he ever moves this pawn, and I'm also threatening to just infiltrate with the king. I cut off the king from this side of the board, the middle, and yeah, there's nothing he can do, honestly. This pawn isn't going anywhere, and my pawn is running, and I'm gonna queen. So he resigned here. It was a roller coaster of emotions this game, but I ended up coming out on top, and I was so happy, so excited, because next game it will be the game for the title, because I'm playing the top seed on the last game. And so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys for the last round of the tournament next time. Bye bye, take care.